This week on No Limits Fishing.
If you want to do a fancy, just catch them on a cut. Oh, that's a nice mackerel. Big fish, long line. Woo, nice kingfish right here. What do you think about that fish, huh? Anchor fishing today. We're right here outside of Shallotte Inlet. It is October, Carolinas, and this is the essence of fall fishing, in my opinion. We have water temperatures about 73 degrees, which is, once it gets to be about 69 to 70, that's generally when it's too cool. So just before the time when the water gets to that temperature, fishing can be very good. We're hoping for great things. So one of my favorite ways to fish is to use the kite and balloon fish while at anchor. And so some of the key ingredients to doing that is, or probably the most important ingredient, is your chum. All right, so you gotta have a chum bag, you gotta have chum. This is frozen blocks of chum that we purchased already ground. Sometimes some people actually use meat grinders and you can grind bait. But what we'll do is we'll use the chum to create the scent, try to draw the fish to us. All right. Then what we'll also be doing is taking fish and cutting them into chunks, large chunks. And in addition to that, we'll also take some of our live baits and actually pitch them out free, kind of stun them, all in an effort to try to draw the fish to the boat. And generally the way it works is fishing starts fairly slow, but if you can get the fish turned on to you, if you can get that first 1 or 2 bites, you can usually oftentimes get a lot of action going, because the fish will come to you and then they'll be waiting for you to fish to catch them on your baits, and obviously have the hooks in them. So we got to set the mood first. It's a beautiful day. We've got on board with us Braden, who's always here. He won't let me go fishing without him, and the Guru is on board, of course. So let's see if we can get some fall anchor, kite fishing, balloon fishing action going here. Who knows what? There's even some cobia around. So cobia is king, who the heck knows? So let's see what happens. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're setting our anchor. We're going to be doing quite a bit of anchor fishing here today. The essence of fall king mackerel fishing. And your anchor is very important. What we want to do is keep letting out quite a bit of slack. What we have within our anchor line, we actually have a break where we can unclip 2 sections. Get to it there. Where's that? There it is, right there. So I finally got to it. So what we do, we'll unchain, we'll set out a length, and then what we'll do is we'll unclip this section here. We clip in this anchor ball, the anchor ball into the chain. What this is going to allow us, what you need to do is to be prepared if you get a big fish on, to drop your anchor and chase the fish. So by having this ball attached, we'll just simply untie it, throw it overboard, the ball will mark and hold the anchor, we catch the fish, and then we can come back onto our anchor. So that's one thing that we're going to be working with here today. I was glad you did. One little thing we like to use for balloon fishing, kind of a neat little invention, it's called a Balloon Fisher King. We used to just tie the balloon, tie it right around the line, but sometimes it causes a problem. It's hard to slide down the line, it causes an issue. So we can actually take this little clip and the balloon goes through the groove there and around there. See how that, you go first, see that groove right there? Mm-hmm. So you take it and you go through there and then take the knot, and the knot hangs up right there. Okay. And then this is spring loaded right there. So all you do is push that down, clip it on your line and let go. And then when a fish comes up, all you do is grab that, pull it off the line, and reuse the balloon again. Got it. The Balloon Fisher King. Here particularly we're talking about king mackerel fishing. We love to king mackerel fish using our kite. The first part of the equation in kite fishing is your kite. There's basically two different style kites that we use. You've got the standard version, which is generally good for winds up to around 20 miles an hour. And then your light kite, your light wind version, which generally we use for winds less than 10 to 12 miles an hour. So you want to carry two different kites with you to be able to use for the different wind conditions. So that's part one of the equation. Alright, the next piece of the equation is your kite rod. Alright, for me, I'm actually using a small electric reel for the kite fishing, just for the sense that if there's a lot of action going on, something happens, I can actually bring the kite in using the electric function and still tend to other things. It is certainly not a necessity. But what you do need, basically, or what we're liking to use, is a real medium duty, and we're generally putting around 65-pound braid on it, 50 to 65-pound braid in line, and then for the end, it's generally just a snap swivel. But this is the first piece of the puzzle. You're going to want to have, you know, several hundred yards of line, small conventional, electric type, or standard. All right. So once you have that part, then it comes to the actual kite. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complex. So your kite itself hooks into the snap swivel. All right, that's easy enough. But this little piece right here is your slider, and it cannot be ignored. What it does is this slider adjusts the angle of the bottom of the kite, which in turn adjusts how the wind is being caught to the kite. All right. If I pull this slider forward, all right, if I pull it forward some, then what I'm doing is opening up. I'm increasing the distance so that the kite will open up on the bottom and thus allow more wind to slide by, but in turn will send the kite higher. If I bring the bridle closer to the kite, I'm drawing the bottom of the kite in, which in turn will catch more of the wind and cause it to fly lower and flatter. If it's too windy though, and you bring the bottom of the kite too far and catch too much wind, it'll cause instability in the kite, or it could even cause it to break. So it does require some experimenting, but this little slider is very important. Most kites will come with a couple of little markers. They'll have a high end and a low end, where the creator of the kite will just take a little Sharpie and mark. And generally, you start with your bridle in the middle, or your slider in the middle, and from there you can kind of gauge it. So launching your kite is something that takes experience, something you want to mess with to learn the eccentricities of how a kite flies in certain winds, certain conditions. But you don't just throw your kite out there and just let it go and think it's going to be perfect. It's got to be set just right. And if you put it up, if that kite is moving around at all, left or right, then it's not right. The kite should be solid, just stuck in the air with no movement whatsoever. That's what you're looking for.
No Limits Fishing is brought to you by... There's no better place than the one you call home. It's where memories are made and futures are planned. Doesn't your home deserve the right protection? Stop by or call Allstate agent Rusty Russ at 910-754-6596 to talk about home insurance today and let the good life in.
Yeti coolers are built to take the rugged abuse that comes with the way we work and play. These grizzly-proof ice chests are virtually indestructible. With thicker walls, more than twice the insulation, they outperform the competition. And keeping things cold is what Yeti Cooler is all about. Yeti Coolers. Wildly stronger, keep ice longer. Marine Service Center of Little River, offering sales and service for Yamaha, Contender, Pathfinder, Hughes, Maverick, Carolina Skiff, and other top-of-the-line brands. Visit us online or off Highway 9 outside of Little River.
Fulford Heating and AC is a third-generation family-owned company going on our 40th year servicing Brunswick County. We have been voted Brunswick County's best HVAC company 5 years running and tops in customer service. Fulford Heating and AC has been selling warmer winters and cool summers since 1974. Now, back to more No Limits Fishing.
Pretty standard, just really your standard live bait hook rig, 2 trebles. If anything, the only thing I do different is just shorten the length in between the first treble and the second treble. But a couple things that I'll do different. After my rig, I like to tie a little small sinker, just as like a 1/4 ounce, sometimes a 1/2 ounce, on the main line that slides, all right? The next piece that you have is what you call a line marker. And this is, for me, I just use little corks. You see a lot of times kite corks. All this is really doing is providing a visual presence so that you can see where your bait is in the water. I like to use the little clip-on kind so that I can take them on and off easily. But basically, I'm gonna go from my rig, I'm gonna go up about, about 5 feet or so. And remember, I've got this little egg sinker, so I'm actually gonna clip on below that little egg sinker. I'll tell you why I did that. So now I've got this little cork on here. My egg sinker is gonna sit down. What the sinker does is provide just a little bit more weight to be sure as the line goes through the clip and hits the water that it's nice and tight. If the wind's blowing real hard, a lot of times you can get wind bows slacking your line. So just a little bit of weight can help keep the line tight so that it slides through the clips freely and keeps big bows of line out. If it's blowing harder, add a 1/2 ounce instead of a 1/4 ounce. But again, you can use a kite. This is what I'm using, just a small cork set about 5 to 6 foot in front of a standard rig. All right, so that's your actual setup. And now comes to the clips themselves. All right, the type of clips that I like to use are the ones that just pinch right onto your line. So I can take this clip and I'm gonna clip it right onto my kite line, all right? The clip hangs down. Obviously, it's a tension release clip. So my line's gonna go through the clip into the water and release when a fish bites. But all I do is take these clips and I'll open it up and then I'm gonna reach out to this kite line right here, hang it over and pinch it down. And now it's locked into place, see? And then I can take it and pull it right off if I want to, like that. So I can add and take away clips as quickly as I want, all right? Just like that, all right? Now, the next phase, this is a part that this is a trick that I think will help a lot of people kite fishing, all right? So instead of, a lot of folks naturally, you'll hook your bait throw it in the water, and then reach out and put it in the clip. Well, the problem is while you do that, that bait is swimming all around the boat. He's getting tangled in the chum bag, he's getting tangled in the props, all that while you're trying to get it in the clip and out. So what I like to do is I take my rig, and I'm gonna stick it right into the grip. You can hang it on an eye, just stick it right into the grip of my rod right here. All right, and then I'm gonna take my line and go ahead and put it in my clip. All right, now I take my reel, I put it in free spool, and I let the kite out. All right, again, I'm gonna use the drag instead of the gears. I'm just gonna back the drag off until it starts to pull. What's gonna happen, as you can see the line, my hook set is right here. My hook set is here. So everything is getting set, except, all right, that's where I'm gonna put the first one. So now, all I gotta do is put a bait on here, throw it in the water, and wind the line up tight. Thus, I avoid having to deal with the bait potentially getting tangled in the motors and all sorts of stuff. So this is a neat little trick. So what I'm actually gonna do is we're gonna fish two, maybe even 3 lines off of this kite. I'm actually gonna get all of the lines on the kite before I start baiting them. So one at a time. This will be our first one. So another form of chumming is chunking. So this is a chunker right here. We just take the bait, it sits right over top of a 5-gallon bucket. We take the bait, we lay it right there, put it down and press. Anyway, if you want to do it fancy, just catch them on a kite. Oh, that's nice mackerel. Kingfish, long line. Nice kingfish right here. See him come out of the water? Alright, well, what we're going to try to execute here, it's a nice king mackerel. This happened just like it was supposed to. But actually, everything usually happens at once, and it did. We had a shark on, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's king. Good fish, 25 pounds or so. Hold on. Here we go.
Nice fish. Look at it, Braden.
Dad, can I see him? Can I see him?
Yep, come around back so I can get a good shot. Look right there, Brady. Yeah. Look right there, buddy. What do you think about that fish, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Look. Oh, man. All right, well, let's let him go, okay? So he can live again. So then we want to see him again in the next tournament, but we want him to be about 20 pounds bigger. All right?
No Limits Fishing is brought to you by... There's no better place than the one you call home. It's where memories are made and futures are planned. Doesn't your home deserve the right protection? Stop by or call Allstate agent Rusty Russ at 910-754-6596 to talk about home insurance today and let the good life in. As a business owner, it's important for you to understand what you're making and what you're spending. At First Bank, we believe education is key to any financial endeavor, and we pride ourselves in collaborating with businesses. Visit localfirstbank.com or stop by a branch for a free business banking review. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Marine Service Center of Little River, offering sales and service for Yamaha, Contender, Pathfinder, Hughes, Maverick, Carolina Skiff, and other top-of-the-line brands. Visit us online or off Highway 9 outside of Little River.
Fulford Heating and AC is a third-generation family-owned company going on our 40th year servicing Brunswick County. We have been voted Brunswick County's best HVAC company 5 years running and tops in customer service. Fulford Heating and AC has been selling warmer winters and cool summers since 1974. Now, back to more No Limits fishing.
All right, well, we were picking up lines to head in, caught a couple fish. We were just bringing our stuff down off the kite, and the king skied right here in the prop wash. Whoosh. Came right out of the water, he grabbed that bait. Guru was on the rod, and he did his normal dancing and running. And somehow or another, you have these extraordinary fish.
Incredible.
Absolutely. That's really incredible.
Well, you tell me what the fish did. He came under the boat, he went around the boat, he went through the boat, he went over the anchor, under the anchor.
I'm telling you,
He's
man.
back into the bite right now. Oh, he's going around again, Braden. Going around the anchor again. Come back this way now.
Give it a second. You put on the GoPro, maybe get a little underwater footage. He is foul hit. Bring him up, lay his head on the side of the boat, kind of hold him down a little bit. Yeah, that one just had one hook in it. Pretty fish, not a good one. 20 pounds or so. All right, let's go. And then when you release them, this part's important. You want to throw them down like a torpedo so that the water goes straight up their gills and their mouth. So here we go. Fair example, I give that about an 8. Just trying to shoot them straight down in the water to make the water force up through their gills. Helps to give them a revitalization. So hopefully they'll take off. One thing that's for certain, he's got a lot better chance of living in the water than he does in the cooler. So trying to rack up some points to catch one when we really need them in a fishing tournament. All right, well, we came out here. We had a few hours to kill this morning. Nice October morning, got a northeast wind. We're sitting right here on the beach, about a mile out, anchored up, chumming, kite fishing, balloon fishing. Something about catching king mackerel when you're literally within a golf club swing of the beach. We didn't kill them, but we had a few good bites, missed a couple, caught a couple. Get to see them jump, skyrocket on the kite, so a lot of fun. Get to watch the Rube show. That's always a lot of fun. They're always interesting, and Braden's always got some kind of show going on.
Yeah,
So,
I get to go.
yeah, you do. All right. Well, this concludes another great adventure. Once again, another exciting fishing adventure. We snuck out for a couple hours. Actually the day after the Fall Brawl King Classic fishing tournament. I could not stand not being able to go fishing, having to stay here and direct the tournament, but it's really cool being able to catch nice fish literally right out front of your doorstep.
You hurt my feelings a little bit. I fished hard the whole day before, the entire day, and I think you guys caught more fish in an hour or 2 hours than I did the entire day, so that was tough, but you're right. This is that time of year we love so much when, you know, these great fishing opportunities are so close and the fishing is very good. But I think it's also my favorite time of year. Like Buffett said, it's time to go. Their coast is clear or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, it is that time of year.
Yeah, well, you mentioned certainly didn't intend to hurt your feelings. You know, I'm sorry, but that is just kidding. Of course, when you get in a tournament and there's, you know, the fish really do mean more than just catching fish. I talked a lot. You know, everybody always catches the big one right before the tournament or after the tournament, but there's definitely something to being in competition that changes things. I feel a lot different when you're in competition, and I don't know if you mess up more or you just think differently, or who knows what it is. But that's those like the prize fighters or the championship golfers who can just relax, and that's when we've done our best. It's when you can relax.
The fish can feel it. They can sense it.
When you pick up the rod and you're nervous, something happens. Things change.
Yeah. But this episode also marks a momentous occasion this year in that this is our last episode of the year.
Yep. 2014 is
things
concluded.
Are wrapping up. Yep. It's been one heck of a year. Yeah. I think we can say that and honestly, we normally would talk about how bad things were. I don't feel that way. I sort of feel like this year was actually pretty good fishing overall.
Yeah, it was. We had a good year of fishing. Just the variety that our area experiences. I mean, you can travel to some areas and have exceptional this and such all over, but just for the different varieties, and every fish here has its time, has its place, has its season. I think I've said, before that Ocean Isle Beach, this area of Brunswick County, can be world class on any given day, on really on a variety of any given species almost. And unfortunately, while the rest of the world is working inland, trying to work to get here to the beach, we're fortunate enough a lot of times to be here and to be able to jump on this fishing when it's right and when it's good. And that's the thing that's hard, is to be right there when it's on and when it's time.
Well, that's what I think frustrates people that don't live here so much, is that should have been here yesterday type deal. And the truth of the matter is, when you hear about it, it's probably too late. You got to go with your gut. But just thinking back, this spring, we had excellent wahoo fishing.
Right.
The mahi fishing was pretty good. Moving into the summer, the king mackerel stuff never really got going the summer like we would want it to, but it was made up for with the cobia.
Right.
We had awesome cobia fishing.
We did.
And then as we moved into the fall, the king mackerel came back with vengeance.
Yeah.
And we had best king mackerel fishing we've had around here, still going on.
Yeah.
Probably that we've had in many years, and the redfish too. So
yeah, the redfish came back again, which last year was kind of a new thing, and so we were watching to see if it would happen again, and it seems like that may be something consistent for us. And we also mixed in some traveling this year too. We went up and did some white marlin fishing, which was something different and new, and sort of building on the traveling theme. Looking forward to next season, we're already working on shows for next year.
Yeah.
And we just got back from hopefully getting some incredibly good footage fishing down in what I kind of call our home away from home fishing in Venice, Louisiana.
That's right. That's right. Filming a TV show, it's not as simple as a lot of folks may think. You don't get to just go fishing and catch fish. It seems like the minute you put a camera on the boat, everything changes. The fishing is no good, the boat breaks down, the weather's bad, can't get everybody on the same page. So it takes a lot to get these shows together, and so we're forced to kind of think ahead and try to put some footage in the can. And like I said, going down to Venice is a great way to do that. The fishing down there is world class.
It's very good fishing. It's a super neat place. I've written about it in past Brunswick Beacon articles, and quite a few of the folks that fish, in this area travel to that area or have been there, and just talking back about how difficult it is to actually shoot a show. I certainly am fairly superstitious. I think most fishermen, they get that way, and you can call it what you want, but when you put a camera on a boat, the fish run, and everything, like you said, it gets much more difficult. But just talking about some of the things that folks can look forward to on the Venice trip, I manned the offshore version and you manned the inshore version, and give me a quick recap. What'd you do?
Yeah, we did some red fishing in the skinny waters down there, which is a big challenge, but I think we did okay.
Right.
Don't want to give away the next season.
Don't tell anything.
Yeah, but another thing we should mention before we have to go here is ourselves, along with a lot of fellow Brunswick County fishermen, are going down to Biloxi here next week to fish the SK National Championship Tournament.
That's right.
Which is kind of the culmination of all these king mackerel tournaments at the end of the year. We go down and we compete against all the other folks from throughout the Southeast, and Brunswick County folks do very well in this tournament. We've been fortunate enough to win it 3 times, and hopefully we'll bring the gold back here.
Yep. So we're actually leaving just in a couple days. We'll run down there, and like you said, there's probably 20 teams from this general area, and hopefully with some luck, we will bring the national championship back. if since we're ending our season, folks can follow probably what's going on in the tournament off of our website, oifc.com, and see how folks did, and hopefully you'll get to read about it in the newspaper too, and maybe us, it doesn't have to be us again, maybe some other local team will be holding that trophy high and represent Brunswick County again.
That's right. Let's hopefully we can get to talk about it when we come back for No Limits Season 3 in 2015.
See you there.
We are ATMC TV, Channel 3 and HD Channel 910, your community channel.